from the Humanities department. And also should be here very kindly handing out flyers with a list of all the events that are on from now through Thursday. And I'd like to encourage you all to attend as many events as possible. We have final hour for Congress on the Road coming tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the open room. And we have student stories presentation tomorrow night at the City Library at 7. And then a keynote speaker on Thursday at 7 at SLCC campus. So please come and plan on attending those events. It's really great for Salt Lake Community College to have such a team to talk to us. So please take advantage of that. And without further ado, I shall hand the time over and my students will explain what's going to happen today.
Hello, everybody, again, and welcome to our Big Questions Forum. Thank you. Today we're focusing on Carl. Today we're focusing on Carl Wilkens and his work. Our awesome introduction to Humanities team, section 1100. I'm Aaron Wilkens.
I'm Taylor Debbie.
Matt Carpenter. Brandon Meldrum.
Kylie Gore.
And Matthew Conway.
And as I said, today we're going to be talking about Carl Wilkens and focusing on his work in Rwanda during 1994. Carl Wilkens was working with this group named ADRA. He was the head Adventist Development and Relief Agency internal person over there in Rwanda. There in 1978 as a part of a college volunteer program and spent 13 years there total. He was the only person there, only American there, to stay while the genocide was happening. We're going to be watching a 40-minute documentary. It's called I'm Not Leaving. And afterwards, we're going to have a brief Skype with Carl Wilkens itself, a little open question forum. And then afterwards, you guys to stay because of the awesome cupcakes that will be up there for you guys movie.
So as we watch the video, just keep in mind, come up with some questions that you want to ask. I think it was really interesting in Rwanda that when people were ordered to leave, the idea of staying didn't even occur to them. And of course, the killing going on around here, the smart thing to do is get out of here. Get those who you love and safely get them out of there.
The senior level official said the government forces and militia were responsible for the genocide of between 500,000 and 1 million people.
I think the temporary said there aren't going to be any forces left in Rwanda.
But in every situation, you have a choice. I mean, the choices might be greatly restricted. Take that choice away, and sometimes we'd like to give that choice to other people. But it boils down to really, we do have a choice. And lucky is the person who had somebody like Teresa standing next to me, making that choice together. Went to Africa the first time I was in college. Came back to the States and fell in love. So as soon as I got married with this beautiful girl, 6 weeks later we moved to Zimbabwe. Our daughters were born there, so Africa just kind of got in our blood.
You know, I didn't give a whole lot of thought to what was it that after everything I do. I knew he was an adventurous person, and I was excited about living overseas.
When we moved to Rwanda, our first projects were to build schools, working with ADRA, Advanced Development Relief Agency.
Yeah, I went to Carl Wilkens in 1990. Then I became a architect for others. Someone was surprised at how American young having 3 kids fast and that.
We were excited to be able to raise our kids in Africa. And Rwanda, like other countries we had been in, was very welcoming. The neighborhood kind of took our kids in as neighborhood kids.
The kids would go to school, Carl would do his work, I'd take the kids swimming and on birthdays, we'd go camping. So it was very normal for us. We were pretty much untouched by the conflicts that were so much underneath.
And we had 2 Rwandans working in our home, John Deere, the night watchman, and Anita, who not only worked in our home, but she lived with us. And so Anita just proved to be a really kind, thoughtful, she was great with the kids.
She would stay with us through the week. We had a room in our house with a separate entrance, and we grew to love her very much, like part of our family.
Beginning in about January 1994 is when we started to pick up the undertones of unrest. I was the person who was supposed to bring the Rwandan and Tutsi militaries together for various dialogues, and you got a sense that there was a tension between them. Some of it you'd expect, but other aspects of it, you knew that there was something unsettling.
We didn't know the word genocide in the months before, but we could tell there was a lot of tension, and there were rumors of pickup trucks with machetes coming in. And then there were massacres, 50 people, 20 people, 100 people. You know, I started to find out some of my workers were Hutu and some were Tutsi. Up until that point, I actually didn't know who was Hutu. They worked together in a way that would indicate that there was a problem.
There was enough of a counterbalance of those who wanted to see peace succeed that everyone thought that any of those attempts to foil the peace would fail. All of that was proven wrong when the plane was shot down, and then in the next 24 hours there was a carefully orchestrated plan that was executed.
Here, huh? We got all the kids in the hallway and the television. This is April 7th, and we're watching TV in the hall. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and we were woken up at about 5:15, 5:20. My large parents left.
The day after the plane was shot down, there was slaughter going on at an orphanage to the east, and we were talking on our ham radio with them, and they reported people coming onto their campus and people being killed there at the orphanage, and they were begging us to get help. Please send the UN. And so I managed, after quite a few attempts, to get the UN on the phone. The UN guy was really shook up, and he said they had lost control of the airport. I'm like, what do you mean you lost control of the airport? You know, how does the UN lose control of the airport?
I remember looking across in groups of, mostly probably young guys, they'd be carrying sticks or machetes, they'd be moving in groups of 6 or 8, probably going from one house to another. It was very horrifying to think of what was happening.
Was people moving around me. After no, there's a soda from Chikondo, our area was clean already too. That means they don't care. We put it in category, put it for machete. That is basically that the young involved.
Wow. The term Inkahamwe is Kenyawangan term. I believe it means something like those of us who work together. And they managed to work the idea that if they didn't kill all the Tutsi, they would be enslaved by the Tutsi. In self-defense, that this was a duty of all Rwandan Hutu citizens. That's how they were able to mobilize everybody to this very twisted collective insanity.
Towards the end of that first day of killing, a gang actually gathered at our gate. We didn't know about this until the next morning, but we found out that our neighbor ladies had come out, stood between the gates, stood in front of these guys with clubs and machetes, and they said, no, you can't go into our house. They started telling stories about our family, doing little acts of kindness. Basically, they said, their kids play with our kids. We were shocked to find out that we had been, but then even more amazed at the courage of these ladies. They would risk their lives for us.
My first and only priority in many ways was finding out where every single American was and how we would get them safely out.
So it probably would be Friday evening, Teresa and I would start making the decision about what we're gonna do, and especially about Anita and Genevieve were targeted because of their Tutsi ID cards. The embassy had made it really clear that Rwandans could not be evacuated in the convoy, that would put everybody at risk. And so that option was out, thinking that they could stay and barricade themselves in the house, and the house would be broken into and they would be slaughtered. And so really, there just didn't seem like many options, except if, I was able to stay, my presence would stop the militia. There was a huge respect for foreigners in Rwanda, a real valuing of foreigners.
His personality, his heart was such that there was another option because he saw people suffering and he can't just leave it and not do anything about it. For me, it's a matter of, can I stand with that?
My parents were visiting at the time, and I was really glad my dad could drive the family out so Teresa could be with the kids, but still.
Recognize, it's a hard decision, not just for him, but yet we could be looking at the possibility of never seeing each other again.
The harder part of this decision was her part, definitely. Much, much tougher for her to leave with the kids.
And I know at that point in time, his thinking was, and I agree totally. I knew as admin director, he's there for not just the development aspect, but for the relief aspect too. He's been out there working in these camps. And so it seemed that it would be right not to stay. The right thing to do is to stay.
I'll never forget standing by our bedroom window, looking out at the city, which is built on hills there in Kigali, and holding her and thinking, this is what it's come to, and this is the right thing to do. And so I'm on the radio now, and I was telling Laura at the embassy, I'm sending my wife and family to the American ambassador's home. She says, what do you mean you're sending them? We're all leaving, everybody, shredding documents, locking the doors, everybody leaving over. And I said, no, I'm not leaving. Kind of pause. You don't have a choice. And yes, I do have a choice. And you can see this going back and forth. Okay, then I need you to sign on a piece of paper that you refuse the help of the United States government to leave Rwanda.
And I remember thinking how incredibly hard of a decision that must have been to be separated from his wife and kids and make the decision to stay. He had the opportunity, because he had an American passport in his hand, to leave the country and find safety. And instead, he was choosing to stay and let the people that he loved the most in this world go on overland without him.
In leaving, I do feel like we were abandoning him. And though he tells me he never felt abandoned, I just, when you're all leaving and you're leaving someone behind, you do get that sense of you're abandoning them.
Beautiful sunny day. This is Tuesday, and nobody can believe what is hidden by this beautiful sunny day.
Here you can see is the corner of our yard. This house over here is just on the other side of the street. You can see the hole in the metal roof from where a small rocket landed this morning.
7 curfew, the government said nobody is allowed out of their house. The only people on the streets were the people who were doing the slaughter. The pastor and his wife who had joined me, she would buy stolen food or a propane bottle over the fence. It was a survival time those 3 weeks. How can we get enough food and water just to survive?
Electricity went off yesterday.
During those first 3 weeks, there were several incidents when soldiers came, wanted to know who was there. I mean, there was this time that we actually paid off the militia about $100 to save the lives of the people in our house. You just did what you had to do, each threat, each challenge that came.
Plus, he doesn't seem to be bothered by the shooting. Poacher up there, he's just looking all around and that seems too close. Now here's the all-bedroom radio station.
So I think it was about the second week of the genocide that, you know, it was really sinking in on me. I might not see my family again. I started thinking, you know, I gotta read some sort of record. And so I found some old medical lecture tapes that I had gotten from my brother and started recording over these tapes what was happening.
Okay, this is Sunday morning, April 24th, and should have a radio contact here with Teresa very soon.
I remember listening for her voice. There'd be static on the radio and stuff, and then I'd hear this sweet voice come over the radio. 7676, this is Tango Whiskey, do you copy? And I push the button and go, yes, Tango Whiskey, this is 76, go ahead.
Initially, when he wasn't out and able to move around, we talked for a long time, I think, Flower.
I would ask her at different times, are you still okay with the decision? You know, is everything really all right? I'm trying to sense from 1,000 miles away from a staticky radio how she's doing. She always just came back to me rock solid, like, yes, absolutely.
Usually we talk once in the morning and then late at night when he got back. And no matter what the newspapers were saying, no matter what the newscasts were saying, you know, I'd hear all kinds of reports about, oh, things are going on, but it just didn't know that he was doing okay. And so he came back safe every night messages.
Eventually, an announcement came over the national radio. The government was giving permission for people to come out and get a travel document, a laissez-passer. And so when I heard that word over the radio, I thought, okay, this is our chance. Because every time I was thinking, okay, I stayed to hopefully save the lives of these 2 people, but there's got to be more. The morning I actually left the house, I remember thinking, we've developed a routine and this sort of feels like there's security here within the fence of our yard in our house. And now I'm venturing out and I wasn't sure what I would find out there. I had talked on the radio to the Red Cross. I knew the killing was still going on. So yeah, it was with a lot of uncertainty that I ventured out that first day. Pastor Sarai along. I really counted on his advice. And then to have Dawson, one of my Adra guys, we had been through tough scrapes already. Back in the car down the driveway, I knew the first roadblock was less than 100 yards away. Fortunately, it was a neighbor, the tailor man, who was there. Strange to see him instead of at his sewing machine, having a machine gun in his hand. But he wasn't too difficult. But there was another roadblock we came up to, and they were shouting, Belge, Belge, as we drove there. You know, they saw a white guy in the car. I guess thought I was Belgian. And I said, no, I'm an American. I'm not Belgian. The guy says, good. You know, there was a rumor going around that Belgians had shot the plane down. He says, because if you were a Belgian, and he kind of draws his knife across his throat and laughs and says, this is what would happen to you. And, you know, as we wandered through some of the neighborhoods, It was really strange. They were deserted like ghost towns. I remember this one guy sitting on a couch. They drug it out next to the street. He had an old like shotgun across his lap and a monkey on a leash. And there were little kids who were playing with Western toys at a few places. I'm sure they hadn't seen those toys before. You know, stuff was drug out of houses and on the streets. It was apocalyptic. It was just really like a whole different world. We made it to the office of the government headquarters, and as we were waiting there, I saw a man walk in with a military uniform. Guy had a real presence about him. Greeted people as he walked around. As he came and talked to us, I introduced myself. I explained that ADRA was still there, you know, not that we had much, but we wanted to help any way we could. And he said, well, yeah, there are some groups of orphans that are needing help. I can send you with my social affairs man to visit these orphanages, and you can see what you can do. That this man actually ended up giving me my marching orders. He's the one who, to a large degree, determined what I did for the remainder of the genocide. He quickly put together the document I needed, the travel permit, signed it and stamped it. I walked out of the office with this paper that was going to be so crucial to moving around the city. Well, I drove into Gasimba Orphanage there with Colonel Renzajo's assistant. I saw these little bumps in the parking lot, you know, they're fresh mounds. And I said to Damas, the director of the orphanage, I said, are those graves? And yeah, they were graves. They were children, orphans who had died not from the active slaughter, but died of diarrhea, dysentery. There was no question we had to get water to the kids, but how are we going to do it? Who's going to help me? And I can't imagine doing this without my two ADRA men, Dawson and Gasipa.
That's not giving my ball. Because it's sitting in here. Oh, that's good. How? It's working. He wants to move towards the way. Oh, that's good. That's a good use.
That was definitely a regular part of every time I got out of my house, get water to the orphans, get water to the orphans. And in between, try to find some food, try to find some medicine. Fighting sometimes was so intense I couldn't venture out. But each time I spent down in the house, I would picture these kids with their little metal cup. You know, they would line up when I got there with water, just for one cup of water. The dependability of Dawson and Gasipa during this tough time was just amazing. And you know, both of those guys had people in their homes. Gasipa had more than 40 people that came looking for protection.
People come my home. Honey, that's not what I open special kids.
And he said when the Intrahamwe would come to the place, he would give them a chicken. I mean, he had this little chicken farm, and he'd give them a chicken like that. And as I got out and I started to meet both the players in terms of those orchestrating the killing, but then also meeting people like Damas at Gasimba Orphanage with his 80 that eventually grew to more than 400. You started to see places where opportunities where you could make a difference. So Teresa would send some money through the UN, from the UN to me, and from me to some of the killers who were in charge of the downtown section of the city. They were my bank, and they would change the money to local currency. And then through some ladies at the market, I found out thieves who had a stash of powdered milk, and I'd make a deal and buy powdered milk from them. But then I couldn't take all the powdered milk from them to my house. They brought me to the orphanage. They brought me. So I would take the powdered milk to Renzajo's office, who gave me storage space there. And it was a network of thieves and killers who helped me to supply the orphanage, and even the colonel providing storage space.
I got here in late May. By that time, most of the killing in the city was pretty well over, but it was still up. And there were a lot of areas where we found it very difficult to travel. Carl's voice would come over the radio in the middle of the night, pouring into these places we were afraid to travel. We just couldn't understand how he was able to get from place to place to check on the orphans that he did every day. And still then, he went to the worst areas of town. And when I say worst, it was unimaginable. Thinking back when I tried going through some of them in the daytime with usually escorts and armed people. Be surrounded by creative people with death in their eyes. all sorts of hideous weapons on me, plugged with nails. I still don't understand how it's morale is educated. Most of our people were just absolutely astounded at his courage and his success.
There's this one water story, I still shake my head when I think about it. We had managed to come up with some barrels from the factory. I think they were syrup or something. They were gunky, they needed to be cleaned out. And the water point was just clogged with hundreds of people. So asking them, excuse me, while I clean these barrels, you know, I was like, that's not gonna work. Somebody pointed out that there was a faucet, a water tap down the road a couple hundred yards. And I said, well, won't there be long lines there? They said, well, there's sometimes sniper fire there, but you could check it out. So I thought, well, I went down kind of cautiously. Sure enough, there were kids there filling up their own water jugs, and they all gathered around. Zulu, Zulu, you know, that's what they would call foreigners. What are you doing? And there was one older boy among them who spoke French, so I could communicate with him. And I explained I needed to wash these barrels, and these kids all volunteered to jump in. And actually, we formed an assembly line. One little one put her hands in a funnel shape over the hole at the top of the barrel, and someone else would pour some sand in, and someone some water. Not too much water, we don't want it too heavy, and they would roll it up a little bit and back down, sloshing it. Someone else would pour it out, glug, 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 and then machine gun fire would pour at the metal roof above us, and we all dove for cover. And I'm thinking, like this, somebody's gonna get hurt, you know? The kid who was the leader, he's like, no, just hold on, it'll be calm, and his influence really did have an impact on the other kids. And after a little bit, it calmed down. And back to your stations, for probably 2 hours, I worked with these kids cleaning all of my barrels so I could haul water. And boy, it was hot. It could have been just miserable work, but those kids made a game out of it.
This kind of experience, I think it could have just signed, as you saw so much killing and the suffering of the little kids, especially working for down the street here. We were always concerned about the safety. One day a mortar landed in the front yard and killed one, and the second one just took most of her shoulder off. So angry, you just want to kill someone yourself as you're trying to change the dressing on this little shoulder. You're peeling the gauze back, and she's trying to be brave, and she's crying. You're so angry at people, but then you see the courage in this little kid's face. Keep on. They're never going to give up. So, when the kid's never going to give up, you know you can never give up. And you just have to keep going.
Roger, roger. I guess one of the things that when you talk about the adventure element here is I like a lot of different things. There's no question about adventure and things that I guess some people would think are dangerous. The situation here is it's just no games and there's real pain that I don't know any deeper pain that we have here on this earth that people are going through right now, and I experience kind of, I don't know if you'd say vicariously or whatever. The stakes are real. No blanks are being shot.
Time had gone on, and you thought this is going to end, it's got to end. You know, day after day, week after week. Eventually, month after month, and still looked like there was no end in sight. And it was, fear was so real, especially in the first days. You don't want to die. You love your wife, you love your kids, you want to be reunited with them. It stopped you from doing what God wanted you to do. And so, if you ask Him, He overcomes that fear. So you say, okay, Lord,
if I die today, you love my wife and kids more than me. You know how to take care of them better than I ever could. I want to be the one to do it, but I'll trust you. And once you kind of give up like that, and the nastiness of fear is gone. And so many of us, me, everybody, we get sidetracked at times. We make these choices that are really destroying ourselves, destroying our brothers and our sisters. But when you choose and making decisions and taking actions, doing something, you know there's a reason to be on earth. And you know that the whole world just hasn't gone crazy as it looked like here in this country.
One of the toughest days of the genocide, it started out just kind of ordinary tough. Cacique and I were trying to get water out to the orphans. We took our truck to the water source and filled our barrels with water and then headed towards the orphanage. And as we came in the gate, the young brother of the director, Jean-Francois, came out and he said, "Whoa, you're coming today as an answer to prayer." They were here yesterday, and the last day or two, they had killed about 6 people at the orphanage. And they had just given the message the day before that they would come back the next day and kill everybody. They said, "We don't care Hutu or Tutsi, everybody here needs to get out or get killed." He's not even finished telling me the story. And all of a sudden, around us, we start to see them materialize. Some start to come in the main gate, others are coming through the hedges.
So if you have to see around that orphanage, have we seen Carl Wilkens starting to talk with each other? What's that Muslim doing here?